the LA County Regional Planning and Programming Agency for Transportation, called Metro. We are made up of all the cities. We have a 13-member board that governs us, and that's made up of supervisors in various cities. We have a project that we're working on right now, and I've got a fact sheet that I'll pass out. So please take a copy. You got one? This project is right out here. We're working on the Northwest 138 project. Over the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to be taking a look at studying this corridor to figure out what type of improvement to make. Nothing's planned at the moment, no preconceived notions of what it would be or how big it would be or even if we're going to do anything. But we'd like to make some type of recommendation to our board about what would be appropriate out here. So we're embarking on this environmental review process that will probably take close to 3 years. There's contact information on the back that you can see here. And with that, we've got email addresses, we've got a toll-free hotline that you can come across, and we've also got a website address. And I wanted to, at this point, you can see Teresa Juana's on the back. I wanted to have our project manager come up and introduce the rest of the team and introduce Tony, and we'll talk a little bit more about the technical side about what's going on.
Sure. So thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for adding it to the agenda. So as Mark indicated, we are starting this process, but like Mark said, right now we're just soliciting inputs from everyone, and part of this project is funded with Measure R funds, which is 2008 expenditure plan out of the Measure R a half-cent sales tax that was approved by LA County voters. And using that funds, we have prepared a team of consultants that are helping us with this project. And I'll have Tony and Bob introduce. Tony is point C. We'll be doing some of the more technical analysis, and also Bob. And then we also have Edgar that's also working as our outreach consultant. So maybe Tony.
Great. Thank you, Teresa. First, thank you for giving us the opportunity to be on your agenda tonight. And we are working and looking at what type of improvements are needed for 138 and the limits of the projects from the 5 to the 14. And the original concept and idea for this project came about in a study that was done back in 2005. That study looked at transportation needs throughout the entire Antelope Valley, and that study at that point in time identified that improvements was needed at some point in the future on the 138 project between the 5 and the 14. As Teresa said, funding was identified by the voters in the sales tax transportation, and in that program, it has an expenditure plan that calls out exactly what routes the money could be spent on, and 138 was included within that route. We started working on this effort back in June of this year, and it's about a 3-year effort. At this point, we envision it will be an environmental impact study report that we'll be working on. And what have we been doing since June? What we've been doing since June is several things. One, we've been doing mapping and surveying to get more detailed information about the route, and so we do have detailed survey and mapping information. In addition to that, we have sent out almost 800 letters to the property owners along the corridor, because one of the things you need to be able to do to collect information is request permission. So letters have gone out to people throughout the corridor, asking for permission to actually collect information on what type of plants, animals, that type of things may be on the properties that was in the study limits of the route. Since the letters went out in early September, we got responses to over 45% of them, which have pretty much agreed to allow the opportunity to collect information. In addition to that, we are working to put together our traffic analysis. What are we going to use to do projections for traffic analysis is Southern California Association of Regional Government is the regional model for the 5-county area, and within it, it includes traffic information, different routes, planned projects, and all those sorts of information. We will use that information to actually do a projection of what potential traffic needs are for 30 to 40 years as part of the analysis. The other thing we need to do is we need to do existing traffic counts. We have not been able to do that yet because there's this little construction project going on I-5 right now that have had certain ramps and connections to 1 through 8 closed. We do not want to do traffic counts with the ramps closed because we think it'll give you a very inaccurate picture. The construction project on I-5 should be wrapping up for winter, and so we're hopeful that the ramps will be reopened and we'll be able to do those traffic counts in December and then be able to do more projection of traffic information. We are currently going around meeting people, first and foremost, making sure that you are aware that this project study is in process, making sure you can put a face on us and know that we are people that want to spend time meeting with you, talking with you, and learning about your community, what your concerns, what your issues. We're going to be collecting information about safety issues along the routes, accidents, flooding areas, those type of things to put into our analysis as well. We are working towards a public scoping meeting in early 2014. And so that's kind of our goal, is to have a public scoping meeting at that point in time for the various different communities where we have big public meetings and opportunity to collect even more information along the way. Now, what are we going to build? We honestly don't know. All right. The study that was done back in 2005, within that study that was previously done, it talked about a 4 to 6 lane facility. The world has changed since 2005. There's different information available. I cannot stand here and tell you exactly what it is and what in particular. Our study limits, though, are pretty much just along the existing corridor. Is where we're focused at right now. It's along that existing corridor. And then we have to analyze it based upon the different land uses existing and surrounding it and other environmental issues that we may approach along the way. I really encourage you to sign up. That's going around. That's going to be one of our ways of getting information out to you and communicating to you. We have a project website we're putting together, and we're building the infrastructure behind it that will have interactive maps and different information that you can go to. But at the same time, our goal and objective is, as long as you will have us to come back, participate in your meetings, give you regular updates, and get your input along the way. So my goal, hopefully tonight, is to collect your questions. We're very early in the process. Not sure we have answers, but your questions are informative, and it helps us do our job better because it's your community. You know more about it than we do.
I do have one request on the project, that when you do it, can you get rid of these low spots, put in culverts, some of the dangers out of this road?
As part of our effort, we will be doing a drainage study, and we will be looking at drainage issues throughout the whole quarter. I had the opportunity to come east to west tonight, as the deputy was talking about. It was not a fun drive.
No, and this was just our first one, and this wasn't as bad as it gets. We really get some horrendous washouts.
The other thing is, along with the dips, you got the humps.
Yes.
And I don't know what it is out here, but there'll be a truck coming this way, and there'll be somebody who wants to pass. And if they could shave those down, even if they didn't do anything else, I don't know why people. I've seen accidents out here that.
Right.
So they're gonna try to make it 2-lane, 1-lane way, or make it 3-lane, there's a 7-lane and passing.
I don't know. They could be one of the options considered, and it could not be. It could be like a 4-lane facility, or it could be something different. It really, we need to analyze the issues where the questions they ask as well. We need to understand the traffic, all right, and what it's projected to be, and then determine what's going to be an appropriate solution. So we do not have a preconceived idea of exactly what it should, nor should we at this stage. Yes.
Have you guys hired a firm already to do another inquiry up and down, or up and down the corridor?
Another inquiry? I mean, what type of inquiry?
Actually, I got a letter from a firm that said it was hired by the county or somebody.
That was hired by LA Metro to do a right entry, to look at information?
Right, yes.
He signed the letter.
Oh, okay.
Robert Blue. He's part of the team.
Oh, okay.
So if you got any questions on that letter, please ask him, ask us. The letter we sent out was really asking permission, so we can get out and do inquiries and collect information. So again, that's part of the reason we're here. We get information out, but we want you to know who we are so you can answer your questions.
Okay, and it was also that will right to the end of the property and dig or whatever, or some, and. on
Yeah,
the-
we explained kind of the limitations of what we're asking for the permission to do.
Right.
Some of the environmental work helps us to know the soil conditions,
Right.
smoke holes, and we explained in the letter what we would be doing.
Right, okay.
If you have any questions at all, my contact information is on that.
Okay.
And in the handout, you have additional information of the website and hotlines. We really will encourage you to participate in the process. Through these meetings, we've been learning a lot about what your issues are with the route, the dips and the humps. We're aware of some of that, but you're driving it every day. If you have specific locations that are issues that are recurring, that helps us. You're seeing it, we're not seeing it on a regular basis. So just driving the corridor over the last few months, especially at night, has been very educational. It's a tough route, especially on this western end, to drive at night. So we're learning it, we want to learn from you what your issues are. And the more you can tell us, the more we can get the right solutions.
And if you think of something and we're not around, the email address on there, the phone number on there, hotline, seriously, if that goes in, it gets to all of us pretty quickly.
We get
It
the right
does.
experts, you know, if it's about the biology or the biologists.
Now, one thing that I've noticed is that the commercial truck traffic is increasing constantly. Well, they figured out if they go that way, they don't have to go over like the Tehachapi Pass. Actually, I think the other thing is they don't have to go through the scale, which, so we've talked about in the past that we have theories that there's overloaded trucks and hazardous materials traveling up and down this road because there is no scale.
Scales or nothing, yeah.
Yeah. Especially at night, we have some good people here that are truckers, and they tell us that the word is that a lot of stuff comes through here late at night, the hazardous materials and stuff. Supposedly this road is not supposed to be for hazard, but it's not marked. And
That's very good to know because one of the agencies that we coordinate with is California Highway Patrol. And we want to get whatever information they have so we can begin to factor in something.
You have your speed limit sign.
General question?
Are you going to share that environmental impact report, especially the traffic pressure that's going to be applied to this west end of the valley with the community prior to?
Yes, we are. What we plan to do is the draft environmental document, all the technical studies will be made public to anyone. We will provide it in a location that makes sense. The distribution of it is both electronically and hard copies. If we got the list of people that's on the list, you'll be contacted as soon as it's readily available. So.
Metro's practice is to put all of them on our website, so you can just download it from our, you know, the big documents, you gotta have some high speed.
I would add that one of the things I learned from Naga a lot, we will do that, but we also will have certain hard copies available that those are not able to do that well. So we are not looking to do one method of communication. We're going to do technology, we're going to do hard paper, and we're going to do verbal.
Now, back to a soft subject with myself, the Fourth Amendment. Are you folks going to take into consideration the added pressure at the end of this end of the valley, not just the overland landowners who are going to be immediately affected by your project? How is that going to fit into this?
We have to evaluate the right-of-way impacts of the type of improvements, and as part of the environmental document, there is a right-of-way analysis that's included in it for distribution and discussion with the public. That's one of the required studies as part of the document.
As you folks leave tonight, I'd ask that you take particular notice of how high this road is, the crown on it. We have a heck of a lot of rollover accidents out here due to through the years of repaving and repaving and repaving. Then they keep trying to scoop the dirt up to match the edge of the asphalt. Every time you have a good rain, that washes out. But then somebody happens to go off the edge, they fall off that lip, they overcorrect. Consequently, you've got an accident in the making. So if you happen to even think about using some of the existing roadway out here, do something with the elevation on each side of it.
One of the things that we're looking at is the existing condition. This is really an opportunity to look at improving those conditions. So those great input.
Before the earthquake, I could drive from here to High Vista on the other side of the valley, and I'd only run into 2 or 3 cars all the way through. Since the earthquake, I've come close to having head-on collisions. I have people pass me when I'm making left turns. Trucks doing 80 miles an hour diving off on the right apron to get around me. It has got horrendous out there. We definitely need something.
Well, thank you for all your questions, and please keep them coming.
That's one other question for me.
Sure.
There was a traffic, I assume it's a traffic marker at 190th and B on 190th, obviously checking the amount of traffic to and fro on 190th. What's going to happen to the egress or whatever you wish to call it when this happens for us who live out here? You're most certainly not going to put an off-ramp every mile.
That's one of the analysis we have to look at in particular, because we cannot, landlock people that have access today. Part of our requirements, we will have to accommodate access. Requirements will not allow us to put off-ramps every half mile. So one of the things we have to now analyze in our traffic, and also as part of our right-of-way analysis, is the access issue. How do you accommodate the existing access with the type of improvement? And a lot of it's driven by the type of improvement you do on the roadway as well.
So the existing circulation, the existing pattern, we study that, and make sure we can perpetuate that and not cut it off. So that's a big part of our studies, to understand how it is operating now, so we can help to maintain the access.
And there is a wildlife issue out there.
Yes.
That, like I said, it's not uncommon for us to have bear out here. As long as they've got a way to get around, there won't be a problem with that. If they're, a 4-lane highway here, they're gonna stop them from coming across.
Hell, 2 years ago, we had one climb up a telephone pole.
What was that, a dog and pony show up?
Quick question.
Yes.
Are you guys affiliated with the superhighway that's supposed to go through here?
The high desert corridor and other
Yes.
sides.
That's also a project that we're working on right now.
Okay.
We're also doing environmental documents for that part also,
Oh.
from the 14th to the 15th.
Right.
Right.
But it is a separate project.
It's a separate project.
Yeah.
That one's already underway.
Oh, okay.
Do you know anything about the railroad easement that allegedly goes along out here somewhere?
Are you referring to high-speed rail?
I just go by what I see on from the Centennial Project. They're always talking about there's a railroad easement out here. And I'm just curious where it's at.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll be researching it out for sure.
It's just more of a curiosity thing. 'Cause
Well, one of the things we do is we do a land mat, and we look at all the right-of-way, the history of right-of-way, and deeded properties, and we try to replicate that. And there's all existing right-of-ways, so we know what it is. And that's the process.
It's kind of the mystery railroad right away.
We've heard a lot of mysteries out here. If anybody knows about a mystery oil pipeline, that would be helpful to understand.
I've heard that one too.
That was on 100.
Well, the Barnes Curve, which you're familiar with, came
Yes.
over. I moved out here in 1987, and that curve could have been reconstructed with shovels and wheelbarrows by the time we got it done.
And redid it.
So,
So
the super highway you were just talking about, you have any way of grabbing more information?
The high-speed rail?